Welcome to the Knowing Science program presentation. My name is Lola Zaboda, and in today's session, I will be providing an overview of the Knowing Science program. Thank you for taking time today from your very busy schedules to learn more about Knowing Science. It's truly a pleasure to be here and introduce you to such a creative and innovative K-5 program. Today's presentation will highlight 4 important takeaways about Knowing Science. First, what is Knowing Science and what's in it for you and your students? Second, what materials are included in the program? Third, are assessments part of the program and do they address three-dimensional learning? 4, what are the additional benefits to supervisors and school districts? So let's get started first with an overview of Knowing Science and what it can do for you and your students. Knowing Science was developed as a collaboration among award-winning elementary teachers and Surgical Design and Engineering Company. Surgical Design is responsible for turning cataract surgery from a 1-week hospital stay to a 3-minute outpatient procedure. Surgical Design expertise in teamwork, solving design and manufacturing challenges, and working with regulatory agencies like the FDA gives us a unique perspective on teaching engineering and science practices. So what makes us different from other programs? Knowing Science is a curriculum built around collaboration, innovation, creativity, and how children acquire knowledge of the natural world. We are passionately devoted to teaching foundation concepts that relate to students' daily activities. Knowing Science incorporates learning progressions to help students master the standards, the next generation science performance expectations. The student is the ultimate goal of the Knowing Science program. Therefore, the Knowing Science curriculum is intentionally designed to promote consistency in learning both across and between grade levels. This provides the students with a continuity of learning, a concept at the foundational level, and then further time to build upon it. We at Knowing Science recognize elementary teachers as the experts in motivating students and guiding them through multiple areas of the curriculum. We also recognize the challenges you face in teaching science at every grade level in elementary school. So here's the really good news. You don't have to be a content expert in science, and you don't need to be a scientist to teach science in elementary school. In fact, no one knows all the science, not even Nobel Prize winners. Yes, you heard correctly. It's okay to not know all the answers. Collaborative by design, Knowing Science allows teachers to lean into not knowing with comfort and create an environment of empowerment with their students. That's the beauty of the Knowing Science program. Here is a video of the most well-known Nobel Prize-winning physicist on this planet explaining that you do not have to be a master of science content to teach science. No one knows everything, and there are plenty of big questions still to be answered, and an opportunity for your students to win a Nobel Prize.
There are open questions in science that are as challenging as anything we faced in the past. We know a lot. Sometimes people don't understand how much we know about the world, but we don't know everything. And it's not clear when we will, and there's plenty left to do.
So, how does Knowing Science help you in your classrooms? How does it make your job easier? The Knowing Science program was created in alignment to the next generation science standards. The new science standards emphasize practicing science and engineering by students working together in teams, making guesses, giving wrong answers, helping each other learn, and exploring questions together. It is our number one goal to support you in any way we can and make your job as easy and as enjoyable as possible. With that in mind, the Knowing Science lessons are presented in a format familiar to teachers using the following elements: background for teachers, an overview of key science concepts to be addressed in the unit, examples of student activities and setup, and information for the teacher to use during the student activity and during follow-up discussions. As teachers, you are masters at motivating and encouraging your students. You are constantly giving them confidence to learn new material, and that is the key. The most important part of teaching science in elementary school is to instill confidence in your students. Knowing science encourages teachers to create a learning environment that empowers students and engages them in science inquiry. We believe that you, as teachers, and Knowing Science are the perfect partnerships in teaching science. Knowing Science is about students being curious, being engaged, and the teacher guiding them to work together to create an empowering, positive learning environment for all students. Students are engaged in practicing science, working in teams, making guesses, giving wrong answers, learning and exploring in a collaborative environment. It's not about memorizing facts. The Knowing Science program includes teacher manuals, hands-on STEM kits, student activity books, an optional literacy program, and online teacher resources. Included in the materials are student workbooks, STEM kits, a forever digital license with lifetime free digital teacher's manual, and student workbook. Users of the Knowing Science program are entitled to all upgrades in future editions. The Knowing Science K-5 program is comprehensive and engaging and includes student-centered activities appropriate for all student levels. The teacher manuals are the source book for the teacher. Teacher manuals are grade-specific and color-coded for each grade level. Manuals are also separated by content area. Content areas include life science, physical science, earth and space science. The manuals contain instructions for all classroom activities. Each teacher manual contains science background information, instructions on how to prepare for a lesson, pre-answered student activity sheets, and assessment rubrics. Important vocabulary words are listed at the beginning of the lesson. The teacher manuals contain step-by-step instructions for each activity, along with diagrams, suggested prompts, and questions to engage students in discussions. All lessons are aligned to the next generation science standards and include reference to the science and engineering practices. Lessons were developed using the 5E model of instruction, and each lesson references the phases engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate within the lesson. The 5E lesson plan model has been research proven to be a highly effective teaching method in science instruction as well as other areas of the curriculum. Here is the creator of the 5E model, Dr. Bybee.
Why is this model popular? And I've come to the conclusion that it addresses the everyday task of the classroom teacher who's interested in how does one translate curriculum materials into teaching strategies that really enhance student learning. And I think the 5E instructional model does that. And it does that in a way that's usable by the classroom teacher at all different grade levels. It's understandable. It is 5 words that characterize the phases of the model. But those 5 phases have a deeper psychological research foundation. And it's manageable in the classroom. You see that in instructional materials. It also incorporates, or gives certainly opportunities to incorporate various aspects of contemporary standards, not just the science standards, but also standards for literacy, standards for mathematics, and so on. So I think there's a significant practical value of using the 5E instructional model. And I have learned that by listening and watching teachers use the model.
The format of the teacher manuals is standard for all content areas. Background information is found under Brushing Up on Core Ideas. This includes a purpose section that introduces the central concept, brief description of investigations, as well as objectives for the lesson. These areas are clearly marked for easy reference and include teaching prompts for discussion. The learning progressions are presented at the beginning of each unit. Each lesson is specifically addressed according to its role in the learning progression. An important point to remember is that foundational, basic knowledge must be developed, preferably through hands-on activities, by the students first before they begin learning specific topics described in the Next Generation Science Standards. Preparing for the lesson includes a guide for the teacher with respect to general information, questions for guided inquiry, a complete list of materials needed for the investigation, as well as session length. All materials used or referenced in a lesson are included in the Knowing Science kits. Teaching the lesson. This section starts with a question that guides the student's investigation of a concept or skill and includes a step-by-step procedure for teaching the activity. Most lessons are divided into several classroom sessions that emphasize guided student discovery through the use of teacher modeling and questioning. Teacher questions help to establish a focus, encourage higher-level thinking skills, and assess student understanding. STEM kit materials and diagrams for activities set up are included as part of the lesson plan. Some lessons are structured for whole class activities, while others are geared towards small group instruction. Whole group activities are integrated into lessons to help students explore and investigate concepts with the teacher. Complete directions and diagrams for setup and pre-class preparations are included in the teacher manual. Included in the program are student activity books for each module: Physical, Life, Earth, and Space Science. The activity books contain student activity sheets related to each lesson. As an added feature, the student activity books are provided electronically to districts, allowing teachers to easily access materials from home. Knowing Science is a unique approach to teaching science. Using fully developed STEM kits, students explore science concepts with their teachers. A Knowing Science STEM kit contains the materials necessary for teacher demonstrations and student activities, organized by activity in subkits. Each kit accommodates a class of 25 students. Included activities are for whole class and small group learning. The optional literacy program includes a selection of books for each grade level. Included are guides that clearly list the reading levels of each book and offer suggestions for incorporating literacy into various lessons and adapting to different student abilities. Literacy materials can enhance the other content areas such as social studies, English, and math. As you know, assessments are an integral part of teaching and learning. Knowing Science has a variety of unique approaches to assessing students. We approach authentic, three-dimensional assessments based on cross-cutting concepts and engineering and science practices, as well as disciplinary core ideas. Each lesson contains guiding questions for formative assessment used throughout instruction, fully developed rubrics, and summative assessment strategies. In addition to monitoring student understanding during the activity, teachers can use the provided performance rubrics to gauge students' content and skill acquisition. The rubrics are based on the learning outcomes for the activity and provide descriptors of observable student behavior along a continuum. Patterns of rubric ratings guide pacing and identify the need for additional practice with concepts and skills. At the teacher's discretion, student activity sheets may also be used to evaluate student comprehension. The manuals include answer keys for all activity sheets. The final item I would like to cover is the benefits of the Knowing Science program for supervisors and school districts. Our number one goal at Knowing Science is to support elementary teachers. We strive to make sure that they not only have all the resources they need, but we provide unlimited live and virtual professional development to groups of teachers and even individual teachers. We are available to go over any questions, any concerns, any suggestions the teachers have. In addition to unlimited virtual professional development, we support school districts with an unlimited license for all our digital materials. There is no renewal fee, and we provide continuous free upgrades to all new editions.